So this is our Serai. And the word Serai is an interesting word because it can mean, of course, a stopping place for caravans, where different travelers meet, a place where you can rest and where you can exchange information and tell each other, oh, you know, it was, watch out, there's bandits over there, or there's good water at the oasis, a day's travel from here, that kind of thing. But the word Serai has also been taken up in the Russian language, and in Russian, it means just a run-down old shed. And I think that's appropriate for dervishes like us, that we meet in just any kind of shelter that we can find, because it's not about the architecture, it's about the people that we share the space with. That's really the point of the Serai, is an opportunity to spend some time together attuned to our spiritual ideal. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had as our theme hope, and that was, I think, inspiring for everybody, especially since the world is in a difficult place. This time we have something a little more difficult. We have the theme of judging and forgiving. Perhaps because if we really have hope that we can make the world a better place, then that's one of the things we have to work on, is the natural human tendency that there is to judge others and to judge ourselves. And usually we don't, well, sometimes we get it right, but often we get our judgments a little bit out of balance. In the Serai today, I'd like to work on the other aspect of the theme, which is forgiveness. And there's a very beautiful, it's in, what is it in? I think it's in the Gatikas, maybe, or Gatas. These are the words of Moshe, and they're not long. I'll read them to you. About forgiveness. They say, forgive and forget, which is very expressive of the process of forgiveness. It's impossible to forgive unless you can forget. What keeps man from forgiving his fellow man is that he holds the fault of another constantly before his view. It is just like sticking a little thorn in one's own heart and keeping it there and suffering the pain. It may also be pictured as putting a drop of poison in one's own heart and retaining it until the whole heart becomes poisoned. Verily, blessed are the innocent who do not notice anybody's fault, and the greater credit is to the mature souls who, recognizing a fault, forget it and so forgive. How true are the words of Christ, let those throw a stone who have not sinned. The limitations of human life make man subject to faults. Some have more faults, some have less, but there is no soul without faults. As Christ says, call me not good. Forgiveness is a stream of love which washes away all impurities wherever it flows. By keeping this spring of love which is in the heart of man running, man is able to forgive however great the fault of his fellow man may seem. One who cannot forgive closes his heart. The sign of spirituality is that there is nothing you cannot forgive, There is no fault you cannot forget. You can see from this that we hope someday we will become spiritual, but we're not there yet. The sign of spirituality is that there is nothing you cannot forgive. There is no fault you cannot forget. Do not think that he who has committed a fault yesterday must do the same today, for life is constantly teaching. And it is possible in one moment a sinner may turn into a saint. So there's also hope for us. We are sinners, but we may turn into saints. It's possible. At times, it is hard to forgive, as it is hard to take away the thorn that has gone deep into one's heart. But the pain that one feels in taking away the thorn deep set in the heart is preferable to keeping the thorn in the heart constantly. The greater pain of a moment is better than the mild pricking going on constantly. Ask him who forgives what relief there is in forgiveness. Words can never explain the feeling of the heart when one has cast out the bitter feeling from one's heart by forgiving, and when love spreads all over within oneself, circulating like warm blood through one's whole being. It's very inviting. It's a wonderful text. The only difficulty, of course, is, as Moshe says, that threshold of taking hold of that thorn that's lodged in your heart and pulling it out and saying, all right, I don't need this anymore, and casting it away. And remember, when we say forgiveness, there are various directions of forgiveness, you could say. There is our shortcoming that we hope God will forgive. We turn to God and say, please forgive me. I've fallen short of your ideal. There is forgiveness towards others. That person again has done something that I don't like, but I want to be able to forgive and forget. And there's a third kind of forgiveness, which for many of us is the most difficult, and that is forgiveness of what we ourselves have done. And you know, it's very difficult to accept God's forgiveness if you don't forgive yourself. Just so you can say goodbye to it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.